When I was at Yale, we didn't have the Shen curriculum. We didn't have a big musical theater department. What we had was Maury Yeston, who was a music theory professor. And Maury brought, I don't know if they still have college seminars at Yale, but they probably do. Maury brought Lehman Engel to teach theater songwriting. And through Maury and Lehman, I became good friends with Lehman, and I met Skip Kennan, who had recently moved from Los Angeles and was and is a New York songwriter. So Skip and I started writing songs together, and so now you're going to hear a song that we wrote 42 years ago. And I do have to give you a couple of notes about it, because to say the song is dated, it's not dated. It just has a few references. So way back then, if you wanted to call someone on the telephone, first of all, you had to dial. There was a dial, and you had to swing it. And the other thing was they had to be home. Not everybody had answering machines, and so if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to call them up, and they had to be home. If they weren't home, the phone just kept ringing. If they were home and were talking to someone else on the phone or dialing someone else on the phone, you'd get a busy signal. I know this sounds very foreign, but it was this and it meant that you had to call back later. So that's important to the song. One of the things, now this is Studio 54, it was upstairs, and that was a disco thing. I want to tell you about disco. Disco was a kind of music that was popular for about a month and a half in the 1970s. By the time I wrote this song, it was already passé, so keep that in mind. Just two other things. One is a millionaire. A millionaire is an old-fashioned expression for a rich person. Millionaires back then, at least in my imagination, would make long-distance phone calls on something called a Watts line. Now, Watts was an acronym. I looked this up in Wikipedia today. It said it was a primitive single-fee long-distance service. It stood for Wide Area Telephone Service. And when you wanted to call, well, if you lived in Hartford, Connecticut, and you wanted to call New Haven, that was a long-distance call. I know some of you might not understand what that is, but you had to pay extra money to call Indiana, well, or to call California, or, you know. So, sorry for the long-winded explanation, but you'll appreciate it as Serena, joined by Maxwell Brown, come and sing a world premiere, Do You Maybe Want to Love Me?
Would you like to have a date? That sounds so limp. Would you like to see a show? That sounds so trite. Do you maybe want a disco dance some Friday night? That sounds pathetic. Do you maybe want to love me? Do you maybe want to try? Do you maybe want to take a look? I'm not that bad a guy.
Look, suppose he has a girl, they always do. I suppose he could be gay, they always are. I suppose he's Stradivarius, I'm folk guitar. They always think so. But you'd think he'd want to love me if he only had a clue that somewhere someone wanted him like the way I do. If he only knew.
I'm not asking for a promise, if I'd even ask at all. I'm not asking for the moon, although I would, I guess, if I had the wherewithal.
I'm not saying it'd be perfect, but I'm thinking it'd be nice. And I'm thinking that compared with how it's been of late, it would seem like paradise. It would seem like paradise.
Look, it's not that big a deal, so why the fuss?
All I have to do is dial, so why delay? I was hoping that you might be free, is all I'll say. So why be nervous? If you wanna see a hilltop, first you have to climb the hill. You never know until you try. So I guess I will. Thank God
it's busy.
He probably has 100,000 things he'd rather do. Besides, it's hopeless to figure you're the type he'd ever pay attention to. Okay, try again.
Why not try again?
What have you got to lose?
Your pride,
Your nerve,
your faith in fellow man,
your
fantasies. Look, it's probably just as well I'll do my wash.
Look, he'd probably turn me down. I'll do my hair.
Look, she's probably on a Watts line with her millionaire.
I'll do the crossword. If you wanna say I love you, first you have to say hello.
But
The
things just aren't as bad as that.
So I guess he'll never know.
So I guess she'll never know.